The Galactic Council had declared Earth a protectorate species, a polite term for livestock. Humans were considered weak, primitive, and expendable. Their short lifespans and fragile bodies made them perfect for menial labor across the Empire. Alex had been one of thousands shipped off-world to serve in the Imperial Palace of Zerthal Prime. But tonight, everything would change. Alex adjusted his cleaning uniform, the synthetic fabric irritating his skin as he polished the crystalline floors of the throne room. Queen Elsa, the Ice Sovereign of the Zerthal Empire, sat upon her throne, her pale blue skin shimmering under the light of 3 moons visible through the massive viewport. She was reviewing diplomatic reports, her silver eyes scanning holographic documents with practiced efficiency. The Zerthal were apex predators, their species having conquered 40 systems through superior technology and ruthless military precision. They stood nearly 8 feet tall, with sharp, angular features and an innate ability to manipulate temperature around them. Elsa was particularly formidable. Her ability to freeze entire battalions solid had earned her the throne at just 20 cycles old. Humans, by contrast, were viewed as nothing, weak, disposable. Alex had learned to keep his head down, to be invisible, but he'd also learned to observe. And tonight, his observation screamed danger. The palace guards had changed shifts early. The usual security protocols had been bypassed, and 3 members of the Queen's inner circle, nobles who'd opposed her recent reforms to grant rights to lesser species, were absent from their posts. When the first assassin materialized from a cloaking field, Alex didn't think. He acted. The Krelvax mercenary raised a plasma disruptor, its barrel aimed directly at Elsa's head. The weapon could atomize a Zerthal in milliseconds. The Queen wouldn't even have time to activate her defensive abilities. Alex launched himself forward, his human body covering the distance in a desperate sprint. He crashed into Elsa's side just as the disruptor fired, the searing beam meant for her skull tearing through his shoulder instead. The pain was instantaneous and absolute. The plasma burned through flesh, muscle, and bone, cauterizing as it destroyed. Alex screamed, but his momentum carried both him and Elsa behind the throne's protective barrier. "Human?" Elsa's voice was sharp with shock. Her hands glowed with icy blue energy as she prepared to counterattack, but 2 more assassins had appeared and palace guards, the traitorous ones, were sealing the exits. "Don't move," Alex gasped through clenched teeth. Blood poured from his wound, pooling on the pristine floor. Ambush planned, guards compromised. Elsa's silver eyes widened as she processed his words. She'd survived 40 assassination attempts, but never had a human, been the one to save her. Her mind raced through protocols, escape routes, and combat strategies, but Alex's injury anchored her attention. The assassins advanced, weapons charged. They spoke in the clicking language of the Krelvax. The human sacrifice was pointless. "You die tonight, false queen." But they'd made a critical miscalculation. They'd assumed Elsa would flee, would abandon the wounded human and escape through hidden passages. They didn't understand what they'd just witnessed. A human, weak, fragile, supposedly cowardly, had thrown himself into plasma fire for her. Elsa's expression hardened into something terrible and beautiful. The temperature in the throne room plummeted 30 degrees in seconds. Frost spread across the floor, up the walls, coating weapons and armor alike. "You dare," she whispered, her voice carrying the weight of absolute authority, "attack me in my own throne room, and you dare to harm the one who showed more courage than any of you possess." The assassins tried to fire, but their weapons had frozen solid. They tried to move, but ice crept up their legs, encasing them. The traitorous guards dropped their weapons, realizing too late what they'd provoked. Within seconds, all threats were neutralized, frozen statues scattered throughout the throne room. Elsa knelt beside Alex, her cold hand surprisingly gentle as she examined his wound. "Why?" she asked, genuine confusion in her voice. Your species is. You had no obligation, no loyalty bond. Why would you sacrifice yourself? Alex laughed weakly, blood on his lips. Funny thing about humans, he said. We're stupid like that. See someone in danger, we help. Doesn't matter if they're human or not. But I am Zerthal. We have enslaved your people. You've been trying to change that. Alex's vision was blurring. Read about your reforms, thought maybe you were different. Elsa's hands moved with purpose, freezing the wound to stop the bleeding, a temporary measure. She activated her emergency beacon, summoning her loyal medical team. You will not die, human. I forbid it. Name's Alex, he murmured. Alex, she repeated it like a prayer. I am Elsa, and I am in your debt. The medical team arrived within minutes, real doctors, not the butchers usually assigned to treat humans. They worked frantically, using Zerthal medical technology far beyond what was typically wasted on protectorate species. Throughout it all, Elsa stayed. She held Alex's uninjured hand as they stabilized him, as they repaired the catastrophic damage, as they fought to save the life of someone her entire society said was worthless. 3 hours later, when Alex finally opened his eyes in the medical bay, the first thing he saw was Elsa sitting beside his bed. She hadn't changed from her blood-stained robes. She hadn't left his side. The Queen, Alex started to protest, trying to sit up. Can do as she pleases, Elsa finished firmly, gently pushing him back down. And I please to honor the one who saved my life. It's just what humans do, Alex said weakly. Elsa's silver eyes held something new, respect, wonder, and a dawning realization. Perhaps, she said quietly, that is precisely what makes your species extraordinary. The next morning, Elsa addressed the Galactic Council. Standing beside her, his arm in an advanced healing brace, was Alex, the human who'd bled for a queen. Her decree was absolute. Humans were no longer protectorate species. They were to be granted full citizenship, rights, and recognition across the empire. Any who opposed this would face her personally. When questioned about this radical change, Elsa simply gestured to Alex. This human, she announced, showed more honor in one moment than most of you have shown in your entire lives. If this is what humanity offers, then we are fools not to embrace them as equals. The council erupted in protests and debates that would rage for cycles. But watching from the gallery, Alex simply smiled. Humanity had finally been seen, not as livestock but as people. And all it took was one night, one moment, one choice to act. That was the human way. And the galaxy would never be the same.